Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. This is going to be, I wouldn't say the last video of the year. Obviously we are approaching 2023. Christmas is literally days away. Obviously that depends on when you're watching this video. But I believe I'll be doing one more market update to kind of bring you guys up to pace on what's going on in the market. So without any more talking, let's jump right in. So to help with this video, I got this beautiful background, got this bridge, nice lake in the back, some homes, and I don't know if you guys live in Florida, you've probably been dealing with this cool weather we've been having. It's not very normal for Florida to have this type of weather, but it's actually going to get colder as we push into Christmas. But anyways, as you guys know, with my market updates, I like to use facts, I like to use numbers. All the information you're going to be seeing today is information, especially the graphs that I got from the MLS. Now, these two graphs are going to be reflecting Manatee and Sarasota County. Obviously, other counties out of that parameter, well, obviously they're not going to be graphed here, so you're not going to get the most accurate information for those specific counties. But generally, the people I work with, the markets I work with are 100% in Manatee and Sarasota County, which is why I wanted to do these videos. Now, something that I'll be doing that's pretty new, and I haven't done it this year, but it's been a conversation that maybe I've had with you as an individual, but with a lot of individuals I've been having this specific conversation. In a brief summary, a lot of people keep comparing the market we're in now to COVID times. And if you remember anything, COVID times, the market was absolutely incredible. Maybe not if you were a buyer, right? You had to overbid and so on. But for sellers, it was a great market. I think in general, a lot of people can agree it was a great market for the real estate. But I always tell people it's not a market that's fair to compare it to, because we haven't had another COVID, at least since I've been on this planet, that you can relate to. So it's very hard to take information and data and compare it always to COVID. What I always tell people is you have to look at the bigger picture. If you want to get a better idea on what's going on, more importantly, where the market's heading, we have to look at the bigger picture. So at the end of this video, after I'm done sharing this information and the graphs, I'll give you my opinion on where I see 2023 in the real estate market going. A few set of numbers I do want to show. They don't quite relate to that whole spiel I just had on the market, what I'll be showing you. But since I'm here on video, a lot of people literally ask me on a daily basis what the going rate, interest rates are. So I figured I showed them to you. So the ones I really pay attention is on the very top left, the 30-year fix, 6.28. The bottom middle at a 30-year FHA at 5.8, and then the 30-year VA at 5.87. Again, the reason I focus on these mainly is because the type of people I help, this is the type of loans they are getting, and obviously that's generally what's most important to a lot of people. Now, one thing that's interesting to see, if you guys remember at least a month and a half, interest rates were easily 7.5%. So they have been coming down. We are at August interest rates, what we saw in August and September, which is good news. Again, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys my prediction on where I see the market heading, and that's also going to touch on the interest rate. So if you want to listen to that, be sure to stay tuned. So one of the first graphs I want to touch on is days to sell. So this is how long properties are taken or have taken to sell, how long they've sat on the market. Now, this is a good glimpse to give you an idea on how active the buyers are in the market. Obviously, there's a lot of different variables that attribute to this. There's interest rates. There's a lot of different things, how much money's out in the market, how interest rates are. I mean, there's tons of variables. So we're not going to be talking about that. All we're going to be looking at is how many days in the past 5 years, on average, based on a graph, homes have taken to sell. This graph you're seeing in front of you goes all the way back to January of 2017, and it stops right now in December. So if you look at the graph, obviously it's very clear to see where COVID was. You can see how homes were under 20 days, they were gone. You know, a lot of scenarios they were gone in a few days. But if you look at the trend in the past 5 years, we're actually still trending very well. I mean, look at the graph. It was north of 60 days, 60 to 80 days for a solid 4 years. So I don't know if you asked me, but as far as these numbers are concerned, looking at the bigger picture, days to sell, we're actually still very, very good, very competitive. I certainly think sellers aren't in a too bad scenario, and obviously buyers certainly have an upper hand compared to COVID. But in general, as far as these numbers we're looking at, it's still a very good market. So the next graph I want to show you guys is the average sales price of property. So again, this is going to look at a lot of different things. It's going to kind of give you an idea of where prices were 5 years ago, where they're are currently, and possibly where they are heading. So this graph you can see starts at January 2017 and stops now that obviously we're here in December of 2022, about to enter 2023. So if you look at this graph, even where we are now, we're still doing very, very well. Most of 2017 and 2020, the average prices were hovering from 3 to 400K. Obviously, you can see here in 2021 is they really started jumping as we were coming into COVID. But if you look at where the graph is today, again, we are in December, we're not doing bad. I know the media, social media, news, radio, a lot of people are painting the picture, but I think a lot of people that are painting those pictures, that are composing that content, they're doing it based off of COVID. Whether it's right or wrong, I mean, that's obviously debatable. Personally, I don't think it's the right thing to do, especially if you want to get a glimpse of the overall picture. I think this is certainly giving us an overall look. And if you really look at these numbers, again, on this graph, the market isn't as bad as people are maybe making it sound. Now, the last graph I am going to be showing is the months of inventory. So if every single home in these two counties, Manatee and Sarasota, if no more homes were allowed to come on the market, this is how long it would take to sell each and every home based on obviously the demand we currently have. Now, again, just like the other ones, there's a lot of variables involved with this, interest rates, buyer, a lot of things that'll attribute on how many months of inventory there are. So here, looking at the graph, you will see again, start from January 2017 and stop on today's date, which is obviously towards the end of December. And again, if you look at the graph, obviously COVID again is very clear to see where COVID was. You can see we had very little, if we were lucky, maybe 1 month of inventory, which was ridiculous. But if you look in the past, we weren't ever even close to that number. Now, if you look where we are right now compared to pre-COVID, if you look at it, we're perfectly in line, or we're perfectly in sync with what was a good market. I don't know about you guys, but I remember pre-COVID, a lot of people I was talking to, they were all saying it was a healthy market, both buyers, sellers, people that weren't even looking to buy or sell, lenders, I mean, a ton of people. So again, if we're basing today's numbers on those numbers and those were a good market, why is it now also a good market? So guys, that's going to be it for the graphs on this video. As promised, I will be providing my input and where I foresee the market going. So obviously, you guys may or may not know, rates are gonna, as far as I'm aware, and the people I've talked to, they're gonna continue to come down. And you heard that right, they're gonna continue to come down for the remainder of 2023. Now, don't expect them to go where they were during, again, COVID. I saw rates as low as 2.8%. But realistically speaking, I can see them coming to 4 to 5%, and probably holding pretty steady there. Now, another big thing that people ask me is, where do I foresee prices going? Well, this is where it may be a kicker to you. And again, a lot of you may not agree with me. But I believe, based on the rates coming down, and I've talked about this even in my previous video, if the rates come down, more buyers are going to enter the market. As more buyers enter the market, they're obviously going to be buying more of the inventory that's available. The less inventory that's available, the more demand there is, the less supply. So what do you think that's going to do to price? Economics 101. Prices are going to go up. Now, I do want to put this disclaimer. Prices are not going to go up like they did in COVID, where literally overnight you saw increases of 40, 50, 60, 70,000 in a matter of weeks. I do not foresee that coming whatsoever. What I do see is, over a period of a year, for it to be a normal increasing market, anywhere from 3 to 5% increases over a full year. That I 100% agree is going to be happening. Now, of course, I'm a human being. I could absolutely be wrong, but I can only go based off the numbers that I see and that I just shared with you. This was a small glimpse. Obviously, I look at bigger pictures, but that's where I see the market going, both with interest rates and with home prices. So that's going to be it, guys, for this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope you guys gained some value. Hopefully I didn't bore you. At the very least, maybe you got to look at this beautiful view. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, till next time.